One of the worst things you can have happen is that your videos are too dark. I've been guilty of this more than once. So you need a really good key light and you don't want to spend a ton of money and you're really nervous to try some out on Amazon? This might be the light for you. What's up everybody? I'm the Derek Frank and today we're going to check out the Raleno 80 watt studio LED light. I had some video shoots coming up with some clients and I have a lot of really nice LED panel lights, but I didn't have any continuous key lights. There are tons of different brands of continuous key lights out there and you can spend anywhere from $100 to thousands of dollars. I didn't have that kind of budget, but also I didn't want to buy something that wasn't going to work and was just going to be really cheap. First thing I do is jump on Amazon and start checking out reviews, and then I get on YouTube and start checking out video reviews of different products. I stumbled upon this light right here from Raleno. This is an 80 watt continuous LED light. When I started to look it up, I didn't see a lot of reviews, and usually that's a big red flag to me. The only difference was that the reviews it did have were really good. I decided to reach out to Raleno and see if they would want to send me one of these. This is not a paid sponsorship, and I asked them to send me this so that I could review it. Here's the crazy thing about this light. It's the cheapest you can find in its class. The next cheapest light that I could find that is similar to this is around $100 to $120. This one is only $89 on Amazon, plus it often features a coupon that you can get it a little bit cheaper. This also has a Bowens mount on there, so if you want to add something like a softbox on there to really disperse the light, you can get that as well, and I did get one, and I'll show you what that looks like later. But right now, I'm using this thing straight out of the box with what it came with. Right now, my camera settings are 4K 30, an ISO of 800, and a shutter speed of 60. The fact that I can have those settings in my super dark studio with no other key lights or lights that are featured on me, and this light is only at 10% right now, is really impressive. Now, let's bump this light all the way up to 100% and see what it looks like. This is without any color correction or anything. This light is now at 100%. You can see it's pretty washed out with those same settings. So that tells you how much of a range this has. Now let's fix the settings on the camera and leave it at 100% and see what it looks like. Now I've dropped the ISO all the way down to 200 and it's still a little bit washed out. So I'm going to lower the light just a little bit, but this thing for $89 puts out a ton of light. Now the light is set at 50% and you can see it has a really great balance. So having the ISO at 200, a shutter speed of 60, and running 4K 30 on my Panasonic G85, this light really holds up and does a fantastic job. Before I show you some of the other features that this light has, like the strobe light effects and different things like that, let's talk about some of the specs. The Raleno 80 watt continuous light features an efficient cooling fan, which when I have it on, I am yet to even hear it. So when you're recording, that's super important to have a very quiet fan. It also has an LCD screen on the side that shows you the percentage of power that the light is giving off and also the temperature of the internal components of the light. You can also set it to different channels depending on how many different lights that you have in your studio in case you have any interference if you're using the remote feature. One of the greatest things about this light is the fact that it has a dual power supply mode on the back, so you can use MPF 970 batteries. That's a huge selling point for me because I have to do a lot of video shoots on location and sometimes power supplies aren't readily available, and the fact that I can just throw some batteries on there and kind of run around and move it quick without having to worry about cables, huge plus. It's also really lightweight and portable. It's only 2.2 pounds, so if you're using lighter stands, it's a really great option. And it can also rotate 360 degrees on the head that's provided with it. Now let's set this thing up with my softbox and see how that really disperses the light and show you how easy it is to do that. Hello, now I'm gonna put this giant softbox on here. This is just a standard softbox with the Bowens mount that I got on Amazon. You can see this thing's got some power. So I'm gonna take this off. This came with the light, just another diffuser. You can see how much wider that gets without that on there. We'll throw this on real quick. And voila, it's on. Check that out. Now, let's move the camera back, see how much different this looks with the same settings. Now this is what it looks like with those same settings with the softbox on, but I have the light back up to 100%. So you can see how much darker it makes it because it's spreading that light throughout the room more evenly. Now I'm gonna adjust the settings to kind of show off what this can do with your camera set up right. And here it is with 4K 30, an ISO of 800, and a shutter speed of 60. This looks so good. It's spreading the light out great. And again, that's the softbox doing that, but the fact that the light has such a great source makes it even easier to use. It's just like when I'm doing recordings in the studio for audio. If you put crap in, you get crap out. So when you have good quality light going through the softbox, you're gonna get a better soft diffusion once you have the softbox on there. This is a really cheap softbox. This thing's like 42 inches and it was only $80. So it shows you that with a really inexpensive softbox with that Bowens mount, this light can do a lot of really great things for you. Now what I would also do is adjust the positioning of the light depending on the style that I want, because right now I have a little bit of a side feature. You can kind of see that with my hand. And so I get some shadowing here. If I did have the light more centered or higher, I could get a little bit more even look on my face and the shadowing. But my ceilings in my studio are only 7 feet tall, so I'm kind of limited because I bought the giant softbox for when I go out on location. I might have to get a smaller one, but that has nothing to do with this light. Now, let's test out the fun stuff with this thing. Here's feature number 1, kind of like paparazzi sort of look. Here's number 2, it's got a fade in and burst. Number 3 is a little bit different flashing kind of thing. Number 4 is another paparazzi type flashing. This would be really good for doing music videos and drum shots. Number 5 is just a little bit of a dim flash. And number 6 is kind of like a dual strobe effect. Now here's the light at 4K 30, an ISO of 800, and a shutter speed of 60 at 100% with the softbox. Here it is at 50% with those same settings. And here it is at 10% with those settings. And this is without the light on with those same settings. So who is this light for? This light is for people like me who are content creators. We're not necessarily videographers. We're not shooting feature films and music videos, but we do need quality stuff without having to spend a ton of money on it. I've used a lot of high-end lights and usually I have to rent those because I don't have any. And I will say, I'm having a hard time justifying wanting to buy a really expensive light when I can get something like this for $90. The only different feature that I would like to have is to be able to change the color temperature a little bit. Now that is going to add a lot of cost in anything you have, but this one set at 5600 Kelvin is a really good range. It's easy to use, it's easy to color correct, and white balance. If you guys want to check out the Raleno 80 watt continuous light, or you want to buy it, make sure you check my links below. It does help the channel out. Again, thank you to my friends at Raleno for sending me this light. They didn't ask me, I asked them to send it, and I am really happy with how well this thing has performed. As always, you guys have a good one. We'll see you next time.